My second-year head coach, Steve Smiley. Officials, David Hull, Larry Spalding, and Kelly Pfeiffer. The Bears will move left to right from our vantage point as we are set to get this one underway. Bears 13-11 on the year, 8-4 in conference play. John Cooch easily wins the tap there. And you talked about it, winning plays, getting stops. It'll be an interesting one here tonight because, again, these teams can just score at such a high level.
Yeah, score at a high level. Both of them have a great opportunity to play for NCAA tournament chances when it comes down to March. Going to be a great one here tonight. The Big Sky will be well represented by these two teams.
7 to shoot for Northern. Carlo Dalen Kuntz fires up a three-ball right off the bat. The Bears on the board, and that's what he can do. He has been so good, 20 points in 7 straight games.
Yeah, I don't know if it's even stated enough how well he's playing. I mean, he's playing with so much confidence. His ability to score whenever he wants in whatever way he wants is pretty impressive.
Marine splits the defense, step back from the free throw line. Misses its mark, it falls off the front of the rim, and the Bears look to run in transition.
Yeah, I think if you're an opponent, the last thing you want to see is Dalen Kuntz make his first three because obviously you know he's impossible to keep out of the paint and off the free throw line. When he's making threes, he has the total package offensively.
Bears have a mismatch if they want it. John Cooch against Marine in the post. They get it to him. Kaur wants to go right to work, up and in with the right hand.
Nice pass, great recognition to get the mismatch. And, again, upperclassmen just leading the way, setting the tone early, not just making it all about jump shots, getting the big fella touch in the paint to start the game.
John Knight, the third, touches it for Southern Utah. Cutting through, turned over by the Thunderbirds. Cookshausen has it. Ahead of the pack to Matt Johnson the second. Dropped off to Dalen Kuntz and finds John Cooch in the lane. Scored again.
They are off and running to start this game. Love the way they're sharing the ball. Coach Smiley talked about that at shoot-around as well. The way they're sharing the ball, making the extra pass, and not turning it over. They've been great to start this one here tonight.
7-0 spurt, and our first whistle of the contest. I believe they're going to get Bodie Hume with the hold. And it is on Bodie. And in that game in Cedar City, Northern Colorado got
represented by these two teams.
7 to shoot for Northern. Carlo Dalen Kuntz fires up a three-ball right off the bat. The Bears on the board, and that's what he can do. He has been so good, 20 points in 7 straight games.
Yeah, I don't know if it's even stated enough how well he's playing. I mean, he's playing with so much confidence. His ability to score whenever he wants in whatever way he wants is pretty impressive.
Marine splits the defense, step back from the free throw line. Misses its mark, it falls off the front of the rim, and the Bears look to run in transition.
Yeah, I think if you're an opponent, the last thing you want to see is Dalen Kuntz make his first three because obviously you know he's impossible to keep out of the paint and off the free throw line. When he's making threes, he has the total package offensively.
Bears have a mismatch if they want it. John Cooch against Marine in the post. They get it to him. Kaur wants to go right to work, up and in with the right hand.
Nice pass, great recognition to get the mismatch. And, again, upperclassmen just leading the way, setting the tone early, not just making it all about jump shots, getting the big fella touch in the paint to start the game.
John Knight, the third, touches it for Southern Utah. Cutting through, turned over by the Thunderbirds. Cookshausen has it. Ahead of the pack to Matt Johnson the second. Dropped off to Dalen Kuntz and finds John Cooch in the lane. Scored again.
They are off and running to start this game. Love the way they're sharing the ball. Coach Smiley talked about that at shoot-around as well. The way they're sharing the ball, making the extra pass, and not turning it over. They've been great to start this one here tonight.
7-0 spurt, and our first whistle of the contest. I believe they're going to get Bodie Hume with the hold. And it is on Bodie. And in that game in Cedar City, Northern Colorado got out to an 18-point advantage before Southern Utah battled back. But it was key buckets down the stretch. Drew Cookshausen in that contest was the guy that really put out the fires as Marine scores for Southern Utah to get them on the board.
Yeah, nice play. Makes it look easy. The Glendale, Arizona product. The nice, looked like it was a post on that one. A little baby hook over the shoulder. Nice touch.
Southern Utah switching everything here in the early going as John Cooch clears the paint. Matt Johnson the second. Goes right by Spurgeon, lays it up and in. Northern Colorado 4 for 4 in the early going.
4 for 4, and if you remember up in Cedar City, they made 17 threes. So big note talking to Coach Todd Simon before the game. Defending the three-point line will be a big key right there. Got the blow by largely because he didn't want him to shoot the three.
John Knight the third Had a career high 34 against the Bears in the Big Sky Conference tournament. The Big Sky Conference was MVP from the season ago. Lost it, gets it stripped away in the lane. Cuxhausen comes up with it for Northern Colorado.
Yeah, another defensive stop. I mean, they've been able to string together stops, which is a huge thing for this team. When they play, Coach Smiley talks about when they play well defensively, he's not worried about them being able to score, but when they can play well defensively, it gives them a chance to play with anybody in the Big Sky Conference.
First personal foul was against Dre Marine. Quickly off the bench, Harrison Butler for Southern Utah. He'll replace Spurgeon. Butler had a big game the first time around.
Little zone, baseline out of bounds defensively for the Thunderbirds. Looks like it goes back to man. Great look from three. Zach was one extra opportunity. Those are the winning plays Coach Smiley talked about. Extra opportunities on the glass, and there is Bodie Hume being exactly where he loves to be, which is right above the rim with the two-hand slam.
Dunking it home for Northern Colorado. His first bucket of the contest, but again, credit Kur Jung Cooch with the big-time O board. As Jones outside the three-point line, guarded by Matt Johnson. The second, good hands there. Kind of stopped that rip move by Jones. He had to give up the basketball. Marine surveys into the corner to John Knight to third. The Bears will give him that shot. He's not much of a three-point shooter. He finds Butler with a little floater in the paint. No good. Off left and cleared by Northern Colorado.
Standing ovation by the Northern Colorado bench. They are excited about the way they're defending tonight, and as well they should be, with another stop for the Bears.
Dalen Kuntz. That one lips out. No good. Got the shot. He wanted a little fade away from about 6 feet.
Great take.
Butler gets a piece of the, John Knight the third gets a piece of the paint, kicks it out to Butler, and he's off the mark from the corner three. And now Northern Colorado slows things up offensively.
Yeah, looking to run a design action. Looks like a high pick and roll slip by Kur-Jung Cooch to get an isolation for Dalen Kuntz. Very rarely does he turn it over on that spin. They were able to get a hold of it that time. Leads to a transition bucket there for Jones.
Jones, nice Euro step through for his first points of the contest.
Yeah, very rarely does Dalen Kuntz lose that on his spin move. That's one of his go-to moves. When somebody cuts him off, is just to counter it with a spin move to go the opposite direction. And we got a foul right before the media timeout, 11-4.
Straight wins for Northern Colorado.
Yeah, they played awesome. And I'd be curious to pick your brain. You were at the game last year in the conference tournament. You were also at the game in Cedar City. What's your thoughts kind of early on this one based on those two games?
Well, this Southern Utah team is a team that can put points up on the board in a hurry. They're never out of a game. Again, in that game in Cedar City earlier this year, they were down 18, came roaring back, cut it to a 6. Northern Colorado some big buckets along the way. So you never count them out, regardless of your lead. You lead by 7 now, but that's not safe against this talented Southern Utah team.
No doubt, especially, I mean, you get two of the highest scoring teams in the conference. It kind of goes both ways as far as each team can get buckets at any time.
Right there, an easy one in the paint from Marine to Fawcett. And Southern Utah has 4, 5, 6 guys that can put points on the board in a hurry. So you can't get lulled to sleep here if you're Northern Colorado. Continue to make those winning plays, as you talked about.
Yeah, a little disappointing on that one for Coach Smiley and staff. I know they were trying to get them matched up and unfortunately could not find the right matchup, and Southern Utah was able to get an easy layup.
Jamel Melvin's checked into the game for the first time. He wants to go to work in the paint, kicks out, finds Dalen Kuntz with 5 to shoot. Kuntz, a little jab step, spins back to his left, fade away for Dalen is pure cord for the senior.
Just the pace of that. He was never rushed, never hurried. He kind of knew, like, hey, you know what? I'm going to take my time and I'm going to get the shot I want, and he got it and buried it. That's the sign of a guy who's playing at an extremely high level. And a guy who's leading conference in scoring. He can score at any point in time from anywhere on the floor. Here you see the replay. Kind of just takes his time, little easy spin, and nothing but nylon.
A guy who's shooting 58% inside the three-point line for Northern Colorado as a guard. So talented when he's able to get to the rim and create like that.
Yeah, that's what you call a bucket where I'm from.
7-point advantage for the Bears. Fawcett off the mark as Dalen Kuntz in transition again. Kicks out. Dalton connects. Just checked in. 3 ball. Too strong by Dalton.
Great pass. Great paint touch in transition. Way to get an open look for it. Even though he just came in the game, those are the looks that connect. You want him taken, and great pass by Kuntz to get him a look.
Marine again gets in the paint. Butler Three ball up and in. Butler rocking one black shoe, one white shoe. They're a little different there. You don't see that all that often.
Yeah, that's old school. That's almost like back in the day. Crisscross will make you jump type stuff.
13-9. Northern Colorado leads by 4. The Bears getting into the paint at will. Bryce Kennedy will hoist one up from long range and rattle it in for UNC.
Yeah, I like to see that. Great job, again, touching the paint. You see back-to-back possessions where Matt Johnson and Dalen Kuntz have touched the paint and led to wide-open threes. If they continue to do that, they will be a high-scoring team here tonight.
Butler off the mark, tried to muscle his way in, and they will say it went off of Southern Utah. It'll go to Northern Colorado. Zach Block will check in for Dalen Kuntz. So Steve Smiley utilizing his bench here in the early going. Matt Johnson, the second, the only starter in for UNC.
Yeah, Coach Smiley talked about that as well earlier today. Just their depth stretching to about 9-man rotation. He's really happy with the way Block, Melvin have played in order to contribute, and as well as Bryce Kennedy, just giving them more boost, more depth. So now that they can, down the stretch run of the season, that's what you need. You need more guys in your rotation so you can be able to have fresh legs when it matters.
Marquise Moore's checked in, as well as Anand Moody for Southern Utah. Matt Johnson the second. Guarded by Moore, gets a screen from Melvin. Bears patient offensively here so far in the early going. 7 to shoot for Zach Block, trying to break down John Knight III. John Knight III, great defense there by John Knight III, and that'll be a shot clock violation.
Yeah, that was one of those possessions where coaches talked about a lot about getting the ball moving, and you even heard him over here kind of yell it out, get it moving, and you saw a lot of isolation, dribble, one-on-one, not going anywhere. Those possessions normally don't end well for any team, but you can see there, not the way that they wanted to play. Great defense by Southern Utah.
John Knight III, the redshirt senior guard out of Jackson, Mississippi. Going to use that, what do you want to say, seniority there against Zach Block and really shut him down, trying to create a shot as Butler bounces it in, and it's turned over good hands by Matt Johnson the second. Bears in transition. Connect, had a look at it. Matt Johnson passes it up, gets into the paint, kicks out Kennedy. Another high arcing three splash for Northern Colorado.
Back-to-back triples for Kennedy, representing Dallas, Texas so well. I got to take some pride in that. I'm from Dallas, ladies and gentlemen, but not that matters. Great shot, great pass. The Bears look great.
Butler again for 3 for Southern Utah. Just like we talked about, he had 13 in that matchup in Cedar City. He can put points on the board. A good 6th, 7th man for Southern Utah.
Yeah, his second triple, him and Bryce Kennedy, both 2 threes off the bench, so getting an extra boost from some of the guys that maybe don't normally score the amount of points that they've already scored here tonight.
Connect wants to penetrate on Jones, gets to the rim, and he's fouled. Let's see who the whistle's called against. It's on Tevion Jones. That'll be number 2 on.
I think that's been a big reason for their recent winning streak, that they're on a 3-game winning streak, is just getting more contribution, able to rest some guys a little bit longer than normal. So down the stretch of games when you need to execute, those guys that are starters can have fresh legs down the stretch. Speaking of fresh, we have to bring up the fact that Jason Alvin, ladies and gentlemen, if only we had a camera to show you, this suit that he has on for Valentine's Day is a special treat. What color is that exactly? It's an impressive color. It's almost like I don't know. We're going to get back to that. But beautiful suit from head to toe. Head to toe. Valentine's Day, crush, purple-ish, velvet something.
A little magenta maybe. I don't know.
You go. There you go. See, he knew.
8-point lead for Northern Colorado. Their large lead of the game. John Knight III tries to back down. Gets it out to Marine. Moore. Back to Marine. Marine guarded by the longer. Dalton connects. Comes to his left. Good defense there. Butler has it. Shot clock violation. Good rotation by Northern Colorado.
Amazing defense there by the Bears. Flying around, covering rotations. Great job. It started with the trap in the post on Knight. He kicked it out, and everyone flew around. Again, when this Bears team plays with this kind of energy and focus defensively, Coach Smiley talked about it. That's exactly the goal, and that's when they're absolutely at their best and can compete with anyone.
Bryce Kennedy checks out. Bodie Hume checks back in for Northern Colorado. Big bear hug from the Bears bench and Houston Reed as John Cooch tries to overpower Moody, has it stripped away and turned over by Northern Colorado.
Yeah, nice defense there on the strip. John Cooch brought it down just a little bit too low. Defender able to get his hand in there and strip it away.
Spins off the rim by Moody, and Northern Colorado again limiting Southern Utah to one and done. As the Bears will work it around the perimeter. Trying to get John Cooch the ball on the low block. They do. Guarded by Marine. A little too much body contact by Dre Marine. I think that'll be number 2 on Marine it is. So Jones and Marine, a couple of the big 4, as you will, for Southern Utah. A couple early fouls here, 10:04 to play in the first half. And that could be a storyline moving forward here for the final 10 minutes of this first half.
Yeah, absolutely. And 8 early points in the first 4 minutes in the paint for the Bears, making a concerted effort to get John Cooch the ball on that mismatch. And it's paid off for him so far with fouls being picked up by the Thunderbirds.
Nick Fleming checks in for Southern Utah. Senior from Atlanta, Georgia. And
second foul on Bodie Hume, it looks like.
We just talked about storylines for Southern Utah. There's one for Northern Colorado. Bodie Hume picks up number 2 with 9:56 to play. So a lot of the firepower that we talked about in the opening is going to be hanging out on the pine here for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, Moody with a championship play. I mean, those are the winning plays that Coach Miley talked about. When you have a team that's second in the conference, 10-3, and another team that's fourth in the conference at 8-4, you're going to see a lot of winning plays here tonight.
John Knight III tries to back down Dalen Kuntz. Does. Gets to the rim. It goes off the hands of Dalen Kuntz into the hands of John Knight III. 3-ball off the mark by Moore, and John Cooch grabs another rebound, number 4 for him. Cooch along the baseline, bodied up by Moody.
So tough to guard down there. So tough. He just found a way to dribble his way down, kind of Charles Barkley you back in, and one way or the other, he was going to find a way to get to the basket and get a scoop. Nice move. Hard to defend that. Moody took the charge the play before, wasn't able to take a charge on that one.
Moody was a guy that left the game in Cedar City. As Moore fires up another 3 again off the mark. And so it's good to see Moody back healthy for this Southern Utah team.
Yeah, Coach Simon talked about that before the game as well in the conversation. Just really excited about the emergence of Moody and the addition of how he's played. Really just being a great sniper from 3 where he can go off at any point in time.
Tried to draw another offensive foul and doesn't get the whistle. And Matt Johnson, the second, converts for Northern Colorado.
Yeah, again, not launching threes every possession, finding a way to get to the paint. Matt Johnson touching the paint, Dalen Kuntz touching the paint, getting John Cooch on post-ups. This team is really dangerous when they get paint points because you know they're always a threat from 3.
Doubling up Southern Utah right now. Darts home by core John Cooch. And Matt Johnson, the second, flexes on him. Play in the first half. The Bears on top.
I think the magenta suit, I just want to comment on it again. The magenta suit may have something to do with how Northern Colorado has gotten started in this one. Not quite, a little bit brighter of a color than Knight's hair, but similar kind of tint to it. Anyway, back to the action.
Southern Utah controls with Moody on the right wing. Dumped inside. Fawcett wants to go to work with the left hand. He's fouled. Coeur John Cooch, I believe, will be whistled for the first personal foul on the senior from Ontario, Canada.
Yeah, aggressive move inside by Fawcett to be able to draw the contact. Looked like John Cooch tried to wall up and kind of contest it straight up, but the contact is where they got the foul. Hasn't been a lot of free throws in this one. It's been a really clean game so far. Connects on both free throws. Yeah, I would think that they're going to look to get something, again, where they can get a drive to the paint or even a post touch on this possession and play inside out as they have so far.
Matt Johnson, the second for Northern Colorado, leads away with 3 assists. Connect thought about it, gets it right back. Halfway through the shot clock, Matt Johnson, the second against Fawcett. Gets to the paint, little head fake. Can't do anything. Spin move. Patience by Matt Johnson II, and gets it to roll home for Northern Colorado.
I like it. So part of the reason why you're seeing the mismatches you're seeing is because Southern Utah is switching their ball screen. So whatever defender is originally guarding the offensive player, once the screen is set, they are switching. So it results in a big defending a guard and a guard defending a big. And you've seen Matt Johnson take advantage. You've seen John Cooch take advantage. And right there, Southern Utah takes advantage with the backdoor, nice pass, finished dunk above the rim by Knight.
John Knight III on the board for Southern Utah. The guy in Northern Colorado struggled with guarding in the Big Sky Conference tournament. Dalen Kuntz crosses over in the paint. Dalen off the window, no good. John Cooch grabs it, connect, 3-ball short for Northern Colorado.
Great kick out, great extra effort. Again, not very often that Kuntz misses those type of finishes. Great rebound, great kick out for 3, all around great offensive possession.
Butler on the attack, uses his strength, but too strong there on the shot, left it short, and again, Northern Colorado grabs the defensive board into the front court, 6:27 left to play. Cuxhausen long 2, front of the rim, no good, and Southern Utah tries to crack into this 12-point Northern Colorado advantage. Great defensive effort for the Bears here in the early going.
Yeah, you can just see even them sprinting to those loose balls like that. Again, winning plays. Coach O'Malley talked about it. Sometimes with a team, when they were kind of on the brink of they were on a losing streak actually, and Coach was kind of checking the pulse of the team. Hey, where are we at? What are guys thinking? And Matt Johnson, he's given a lot of credit to for leading this group to being able to have not a team meeting, but a team group chat conversation, which is the new thing for these young people is to be able to use text. Never heard of that. Today I heard of it. And it sounds like it's been really good, and Coach just talked about how much more connected they are and how much they fought through the adversity together. Some teams folded, and he was concerned that this team might have been one of those, but they have responded with this 3-game winning streak and playing some of their best basketball, connected. They're defending at the best level that they have, and offensively, really a balanced diet of 3s, free throws, and 2s.
Southern Utah just 6 of 18 from the floor. 4 turnovers for the Thunderbirds. Spurgeon back in against Melvin and scores it over Jamel Melvin.
Physical play there. Physical play in the post. Just able to back him down. Melvin didn't hold his ground. Probably wanted to get the block. Wasn't able to. Big man was able to finish for easy 2.
10-point advantage for Northern Colorado. Matt Johnson of the second surveys.
See, there you see the switch, and now they're going to go inside again. No call by the ref. Good no call. Flop warning. Really good job by the ref on that one because he tried to bait him in. Luckily for Marin, he didn't pick up another foul. But the reason why you've seen him guarding Jean Cooch and guarding the bigs, Melvin, etc., is because they're switching the ball screen again up top, which makes the little have to guard the big and the big have to guard the little.
You talked about it. Marine back in here with those 2 personal fouls. Lucky
to
not
really
pick up
lucky.
the third. But I did like what he did. I mean, he stood his ground there as it's thrown away. Was it tipped away? No, out of bounds.
I mean, look at this defense from the Bears. I cannot think of a time at home when they've been able to string together this many stops consecutively. That's the thing most teams keep track of. They would call it kills or whatever they call it. 3 stops in a row, and the Bears have been able to really do that a lot tonight.
Kuntz goes to the rim, and John Knight III is whistled for the first personal foul on the redshirt senior.
A little bit of the competition of 2 of the greater scorers in this league. I don't want to say the baton has been passed, but I will say Dalen Kuntz has really exploded this year. I mean, we talk about it a lot. The local product started his career at Colorado Buffaloes with Tad Boyle, and he's just been he was good last year, but he has been absolutely sensational this year, leading the Big Sky in scoring, as you said. His 7th consecutive game, I believe you said, of 20 points scoring in a row, doing it inside, outside, distributing the ball. And one thing he's doing a great job of is getting to the free throw line. Great scorers have to get to the foul line, and he's as good as any.
One of 2 there for the 81% free throw shooter 13-point advantage for Northern Colorado. And it wasn't so long ago that we saw this Northern Colorado team give up 106 here on their home floor against Portland State. And this defensive effort dramatically different here tonight for this Barons squad as Southern Utah gets the rim and scores by Moody.
Yeah, I think that's the exact point that you talked about, or that Coach Smiley talked about, was they could have folded. You know, they lost 3 in a row. They could have folded. Look at the layup there from Matt Johnson, the hoop and the harm. Even though they didn't call the foul, had a little body contortion there for the spin layup reverse.
Nice little lob on the feed from John Knight, the third. Spurgeon scores again. He's got 4 quick ones after re-entering the game for Southern Utah. 3:46 to play for Northern Colorado in this first half. Cookshausen's been quiet tonight. No more. Drew Cookshausen hits the 3. Such a tough shot for the grad transfer.
As Mark Jackson would say, hand down, man down. You have to always have a hand at that young man's forehead in order for him not to be able to get a look off. His hands were down, and he let it fly.
Marine will answer right back for Southern Utah, though. Give him the 3 right now, but they will review that at the next dead ball. You saw immediately the officials make that signal. Kuntz at the free throw line will back things out. 11-point advantage for the Bears. Matt Johnson, the second, left all alone once again, and he's not going to miss that one.
So they're 4 of 7, which is the elite clip, 57%. Matt Johnson is 5 of 6. He has 10 points, and he has not taken a 3. So that tells you there's a conscious effort to make more of a concerted effort again to make more attack inside the arc and not just relying on the 3. Because teams are starting to try to take away the 3. This offensive team is way more than just a 3-point shooting team. They hit 17 last time against this team. Right now, they don't have to do the 3 in order for them to win this game if they continue to play the way they're playing.
Inside to Spurgeon. Marine has it now outside the 3-point line. He's going to put it on the deck with the right hand floater. And a foul is whistled. They're going to get Bryce Kennedy, who's checked back in for Northern Colorado. That'll be number 1 on Bryce. Just the 4th on the team here in the first half.
Yeah, just kind of going back to Coach Smiley talking about the rotation and his team. I mean, you go back to the Sac State game, Matt Johnson had 8 assists, only 1 turnover. I'm not sure that he even scored in that one, but he just cares about winning. And he talked about even Melvin kind of coming in and getting 6 rebounds in 6 minutes and getting a couple tip outs, so almost had 8 rebounds in 6 minutes. And everyone at this point in time just so focused on winning, doing whatever they can to sacrifice for the team to figure out what do we need tonight for us to win. And they're playing, again, their best basketball, defensively especially, that they've played all season long.
Kuntz to the rim, scores it with the left hand, and you've talked about just so tough with his strong hand. He's one of the elite finishers in the country, 9th in the NCAA in scoring as a 3-ball up and good by Fawcett. You can't leave him unattended there at the 3-point line. He will make you pay. Such a versatile player. He's like a Swiss Army knife for this Southern Utah team.
Yeah, Coach looked at the bench and kind of was like, that wasn't exactly what we wanted on the scout report, but sometimes those possessions happen. It's next play mentality. Great shot by the Thunderbirds.
D. Barnes is checked in, and Barnes, I believe, is going to get whistled.
Looks like a block.
For the personal foul as Connect tried to get to the rim, and it is on Barnes, the senior from Great Mills, Maryland.
Hasn't been a lot of fouls in this game, like we said earlier. Been a clean game. Northern Colorado is now in the bonus, so they'll be shooting on any fouls from here going forward for the last 1 minute and 50 seconds.
Fleming checks back in for Marine, and I think that's a good call there by Coach Simon.
Nice
right
pass.
to the rim and ducks it home for Dalton Connect on the inbounds play, and he's fouled by Fawcett.
Great execution out of bounds. Got a back screen by the leading scorer in the conference. Left open. Again, when you're switching defenses and switching screens, sometimes you can get disconnected as Connect connects for the dunk. Yeah, you see what I did there.
I do.
Didn't quite go as smooth as I thought, but we had fun with it.
3-point play is good, and Northern Colorado leads by 14, 43-29.
One small note on Dalton Connect. No longer wearing the knee brace, which he looked like a different player at shoot-around today. Had a feeling he was going to have some extra juice, and he just showed that with that and one dunk.
You see what Northern Colorado's trying to do to John Knight, the third. Bring that extra defender in. Anytime he gets near the painted area, John Cooch is coming over to help. His Spurgeon goes to the left hand and scores it, and he's fouled. Dalen Kuntz, I believe, is going to get the whistle there.
Yeah, good call by the ref, and really impressive finish by Spurgeon. Kind of got a little scoop. Had some contact on a late double from Kuntz. Kind of going back to Dalton Connect. You mentioned it with Bodie Hume getting two. I think that's when he's healthy, Dalton Connect, he gives you another player that has the same kind of versatility as Bodie Hume. So even though Bodie's not able to play in this one, and both great players, just gives you that same kind of versatility at the forward position.
Matt Johnson, the second, tries to bounce it in to John Cooch.
Firepower to do that again tonight. Missed opportunity, though. Had a great pick and roll for another dunk from Johnson. John Cooch barely didn't connect on that pass, and it led to a 4-point swing, as they say, -2 for what Northern Colorado would have had, and then +2 for Southern Utah, able to connect in transition. Little full court press here from Southern Utah, looking to close the half and get it under 10.
Pseudo trap there on the initial inbound as Matt Johnson, the second, breaks it easily.
Remember, Bears in the bonus here. Any foul is 1-1. Looks like that is a foul there on Knight, trying to defend and keep it from Dalen Kuntz, so it'll be 1-1. With the leading scorer in the conference on the line. Nope, just called it out of bounds. Not a foul. Or they missed it. Interesting. 7 on the scoreboard, but great pass, great drive. Dalton Connect's got another energy and pop in his step today. He hasn't been had that kind of burst off the bounce in a long time. And could have taken it himself. That's the unselfish play that Coach Smiley talks about with his team. Making the extra pass, sharing it. This is the most I've seen John Cooch touch the ball inside at home in a long time.
John Cooch good on the first free throw. Zach Block returns for UNC. John Cooch, 44% from the foul line. He's got 7 here in the first half already. Leads the way with 7 rebounds as well. He's coming off his 7th double-double of the season. He's well on his way to number 8 here tonight.
Yeah, one of the best bigs in this conference. Many of the opposing coaches have said he is a top 2 or 3 big man in this conference for what he brings to the table on both ends. Not able to connect. Let's see if who can get a stop or a score to end the half.
Marine and Jones back in, each with 2 here on the offensive end. Marine off the screen is going to knock one off the side of the rim for 3, and the Bears can hold 4-1 shot. Got a good look at it there. You don't see him miss that many. I kind of preempted. I thought that one was in right as he shot it. You don't see him miss that one that often.
I think Coach did too, because normally coaches want to hold for that last shot, kind of like Northern Colorado's doing here. They took a quick one early, didn't get the result they wanted, but were able to draw a charge. Big play there to end the half. Drawing a charge on Dalen Kuntz.
Dalen Kuntz picks up number 2. Good job by Spurgeon there.
Really
That's an
job.
easy call.
Yep, really good
for
job.
This officiating crew. He's done a nice job here in this first half, kind of letting the pace of play get up and down the floor. Like you said, not a lot of whistles here, not a lot of free throws, but good first half. And here again, final 5 seconds. John Knight maybe doing it a little bit differently than we've seen him do it before.
Yeah.
Getting in the paint 20 points in the paint in that first half. So the Bears not necessarily lighting it up from long range. That's good percentage, 4 of 7, but really getting it done in the interior.
Yeah, I think they've seen something on film with this matchup that they feel really confident that they don't have to shoot the 17 threes that they shot, or make the 17 threes in order to win. Give them credit. They've only shot 7 in the half, which means that would be a 14 for the game. They made 17 there, so really important first 4 minutes both ways. Who's going to establish the defensive identity early in this half to get things going?
Bodie Hume has 2 personal fouls. Fawcett goes right at him and scores, and that's probably by design. Go right at Bodie Hume. And Easy one there for Mason Fawcett.
Well, just knowing from a strategic standpoint, great pass, great step over block that kind of goes to the defensive identity we talked about to start the half, but great call by Todd Simon out of the half to go at Bodie Hume, who has 2 fouls, knowing he won't want to pick up the third.
Jones on the attack, goes out to Knight. Knight's going to back down Matt Johnson. The second wraps it around to Spurgeon, and I believe that's going to be number 3 on Bodie Hume, and it is.
There you see the replay of the block. I mean, great backdoor, great design play, shot at the rim, and big-time block. And then picking up the foul on the other end, number 14, Jason Spurgeon, has been a factor in this one.
He's been really good here in his limited minutes in that first half. Splits a pair of free throws.
Yeah, Coach Todd Simon talked about that as well. He said at the 5, he's as important as anyone on their roster. His blocking shots and his ability to shoot threes. In my conversation with him earlier today, he said he's been one of the biggest surprises pleasantly on this team. He will be a factor for them, he said, going down the stretch.
John Cooch goes window and scores, goes right at Spurgeon, and that's a tough shot by core John Cooch, who's had a nice evening for Northern Colorado.
High-skill shot, and again, just what an intentional effort by Northern Colorado to continue to go inside and let the big fella get touches.
Bodie Hume playing with 3. Fawcett's going to go right at him. Spin move. Bodie can't do much, but forces the miss. Now a scramble at the rim, and Mason Fawcett scores again.
Great strategy again. Got to give Todd Simon credit, continuing to go at him. Coach Smiley trusting his player who wants to stay in the game. Be interesting to see how that one plays out. But great job of being able to attack a player when he has 3 fouls. Why is that important for those at home? Because he doesn't want to pick up the 4 fouls. So he'll be much more tentative defensively, much harder for him to really make a aggressive play because the referee may call a foul. You don't want to pick up the next foul.
3 on Marine. He checks out. Barnes returns. Matt Johnson, the second, goes right at him. Got it up and fouled by Barnes. Number 2 on Barnes.
Yeah, again, Matt Johnson he has 10 points at the half. He was one of the leading scorers. Great job being aggressive. He got contact off the bounce. He continued to be aggressive and used the veteran savvy to stop, show the ball, and kind of jump into him to draw the foul. Getting to the free throw line. Matt Johnson.
Free throw up and good. Matt Johnson, the second, has 11 for Northern Colorado.
Yeah, I'd love to go back to that text conversation. So there's a group thread with the team, and he was the one that has kind of continued to initiate more conversation, more cohesiveness, more togetherness. And Coach Smiley just tipped his hat and gave him so much credit for how he's leading this team behind the scenes right now. You love to see that from your point guard.
John Knight, the third, quickly into the front court. Tevion Jones has been quiet here in this basketball game. Inside to Spurgeon against Bodie Hume. Spurgeon goes right at him, and the flop warning will be whistled on Bodie Hume.
One thing I'll say about the Monday games, because they are makeup games and they're not necessarily on the schedule, the referee crews that you can get are so high level right now because there's not very many games being played in college basketball on Monday night. So you've seen that flop call twice now. This veteran official crew has done a good job limiting the fouls, keeping the game clean. And luckily for Bodie, he didn't pick up the block, so he can stay in the game. But great job officiating this game so far by this crew.
As John Cooch comes over, but no. He gets whistled for the personal foul. That'll be number 2 on Core. Little bit late on the arm there by John Cooch.
Yeah, I think as you watch that replay, what Coach Smiley's a little bit frustrated with is Bodie Hume has really gotten himself out of position. The fouls has maybe gotten in his head, but he gambled, which made John Cooch have to come over and pick up that foul.
Spurgeon again misses the front end of the free throws. Lead stays 8, 48-40. Bryce Kennedy checks in, who was big in that first half, had 6 points on a couple 3 balls for Northern Colorado. And off on a pair as John Cooch secures the rebound for Northern Colorado.
Yeah, big possession here for Northern Colorado. Need to establish a good offensive quality shot. Great quality, didn't quite get to connect, but great design elevator screen to get your best shooter a shot.
And there's a 3-ball in the corner by Fawcett to respond. You miss a great look here on one end, and then it's bang, bang right at the other end. It makes it a 5-point game, 48-43.
Yeah, 6-point swing. Missed the three, made the three on the other end. Turnover. This is a Southern Utah team that is starting to get stops, which is what we talked about this first.
And are they going to call that in the act of shooting on Dalen Kuntz? It does count the bucket.
Yeah, showing their explosive offensive ability. The second leading offensive team in this conference. Great pace by Knight in transition. Dalen got a little bit of contact, but looked like an and one from here.
John Knight III scores it, and we've got a ball game, 2-point game, 48-46.
Yes, Knight III, excuse me.
Well, I was saying it's the third on Dalen Kuntz, so Northern Colorado has a couple of players with 3 personal fouls. Kuntz trying to answer back, no good, and there another whistle after not having a lot of whistles in the first half. We've had a few here. Number 2 on Bryce Kennedy, and Dalton Connect will check in for the Bears.
Yeah, we've just seen a little bit of this before, where just another team makes a play at the end of the half that gives them momentum. They carry that momentum into the start of the half, and Southern Utah has been able to carry that momentum so far and really on a run here in Bank of Colorado Arena.
Opportunity to take their first lead of the contest with a 3 for the Thunderbirds. John Knight III controls for Southern Utah. Hands to Spurgeon. Spurgeon to the rim. Counted and the foul. And who are they going to get it on? They call Coeur John Cooch, and that's number 3 on him too. So 3 Bears with 3 personal fouls. Kuntz, Bodie Hume, and Coeur John Cooch for Northern Colorado.
Yeah, a lot of it to this half has been their offense. They have not been able to get their offense going, and their defense has not gotten going either. I don't know where the foul was exactly, but again, when you're the more aggressive team and you're riding a momentum wave, sometimes the referees get on that wave with you.
1-point advantage, first lead of the contest for Southern Utah. The Bears jumped out of the gates early, led 7-0. Led by as many as 14. Nearly stolen away, and it is. Tevion Jones comes up with it. Little body contact by Matt Johnson. Second, Jones looking for a shot in the lane. Gets it to go, and Southern Utah on a run right now.
Yeah, their team.
Southern Utah outscoring the Bears 19-4 here to start the second half. They lead by 6, 54-48. The large lead the basketball game by the Thunderbirds, and showing a lot of the Big Sky audience why they're a preseason number 1 team in the conference, defending regular season champions. Southern Utah Thunderbirds lead by 6. It's tipped away by John Knight III. Another turnover by Northern Colorado. In the open court, John Knight III goes right to the rim. Can't get it to go. Spurgeon's on the offensive glass and scores it for Southern Utah.
Yeah, he's been the key. I mean, Coach talked about it before the game when I spoke to him. He's a big factor for this team, how he defends, how he's able to make threes. But he's done it on the inside, outside, a little bit of everything. And speaking of outside, there is Cookshausen, one of the best three-point shooters in the country, connecting from long range.
Northern Colorado needed that as Jones step back 3, good by Tevion Jones, and right now
fried chicken better with Pepsi.
When you're ready to take the next step, develop skills for a new career, or become licensed in your field, join a community committed to your success. Choose from more than 100 graduate programs. Work side by side with mentoring faculty who share their research and experience so that you're ready to step up. On campus, off campus, and online. The Graduate School. at the University of Northern Colorado.
Southern Utah has stormed out of the gates here in the second half, leading 59-51. They're 8 of their last 9 from the floor, and they lead by 8. John Cooch against Spurgeon in the middle. Cooler up with the left hand. Soft touch. Gets the hook to go.
Yeah, design out of timeout or after timeout play, ATO. Great job getting to the big fella inside and getting another paint, too. Only down, 6 points. As bad as they played, they were just on a 21-5 run. The Thunderbirds were. Again, you're going to see spurts and runs from both of these teams. They're so explosive offensively. Again, it's going to come down to defensively who's able to get more stops.
And one thing you just mentioned, out of timeout points, and that's one thing that this Northern Colorado team is elite at. They're top 10 in the country, I think 8th overall, and after out of timeout scoring. As again, going right at Bodie Hume there, Southern Utah.
Yeah, after timeout, it's kind of a special teams, if you will, and then same with baseline out of bounds. You just saw a great post-up play by Todd Simon at his club, getting a post-up and getting a layup in the paint after a baseline out of bounds.
Cookshausen gets a look at it on the 3, front of the rim, no good, and cleared away by Southern Utah. John Knight III, head of steam right to the rim, finger rolls it up and in.
You think Dalen Kuntz's fans, those two guys having a race with the ball in their hands. They're both so fast. Great job by Knight III to be able to do it in stride and make it look easy.
10-point lead now for Southern Utah. Now he's doing it on the defensive end. He has it again. And John Knight III is blocked from behind by poor John Cruz.
Wow. You talk about a Sports Center play. That was just a Sports Center play. A LeBron James chase down block by the big fella. Here you see it again. Looked like Knight III thought he had a clean dunk, and John Cruz says, not in my house. Big-time play, big-time hustle. Those are the championship plays that Coach Steve Smiley talked about before the game that his team has to make in order for them to be able to win in a championship-level game against a team that's won a Big Sky Conference championship.
Dre Marine checks back in for Southern Utah. Let's see if that block can be the spark for this defense for Northern Colorado.
Key word being spark for the defense, not for the offense. Have to get stops. You can't just trade baskets with a team like this because they've been able to get out of the gate so hot. Again, I believe that, over 25 points in this half for the Thunderbirds. Have to be able to get some stops, string together some stops like we talked about in the first half, multiple stops in a row. Then your offense can get going, and now you can have more of a competitive game.
28 points in the half for Southern Utah. They lead by 10, 63-53. Marine, 3-ball, no good, and a foul whistle. Who's that going to be called on? I believe it's going to be called on Matt Johnson II, and that'll be number 1 on him. But that's the 6th on Northern Colorado. So Southern Utah, 13:09.
They never got in the bonus first half.
13:09 to play in this basketball game. Southern Utah is shooting the rest of the way.
And what does that mean for those at home? That means they're being so aggressive. They're drawing way more fouls, and there's 13 minutes left in this half, and they're already going to be shooting from every foul from this point on. If you go back to the first half, I don't know that we shot any one-and-one actual free throws, but only Northern Colorado was in the bonus.
Good move there, but unable to finish at the rim is Butler. Bears in transition all the way to the rim. Dalen Kuntz blocked from behind, and it'll be Bears basketball. Southern Utah, pretty good free throw shooting team, 72% overall on the season.
And an athletic defensive team, Southern Utah is. I mean, there's not very often that Dalen Kuntz gets blocked on any shot at the rim, let alone in transition.
Cookshausen bounces it back to Bodie Hume. Right slot for Dalen Kuntz. Fade away, no good. Bodie Hume's there on the offensive glass for UNC. Cookshausen thought about it. He's going to attack the rim. Matt Johnson II, who doesn't have a 3 today, lost it, and he's fouled. And I believe that's going to be on D. Barnes, and it is. Barnes picks up number 3.
Yeah, the offense is flowing better, though. You can see more guys touching the ball. Ball's not sticking as much. It's moving. Multiple guys touching it, and Bodie Hume with a huge championship play there. getting the offensive rebound.
Matt Johnson, the third. 3-ball good for the Bears.
He heard you over here in your magenta suit talking about how he had not had a three-pointer yet. He said, I see you, magenta man. I got a three right here.
15 for Matt Johnson, the second. 2-3 zone now for the Bears to try to slow down this Southern Utah squad.
Yeah, just giving a different look. Sometimes you got to give a different look just to find a way to get a stop and get your defensive momentum going. Tough shot.
Tevion Jones, that's the second step-back three we've seen by him. And if guys are going to make shots like that, what do you do as a coach?
I mean, those are the shots you want them to take. You basically play the percentages and say, if you're going to make that, you have to make it all game long. The question is, you can't come back and give him an easy one right after it.
Bodie Hume off the mark, tapped out, but right to Butler by Jones.
The power to do.
Hey, Cover Girls. Coming to you fresh-faced from home. Remember that? I was the Cover Girl in 1998, and today I'm a Cover Girl. Thanks to Simply Ageless, America's #1 anti-aging foundation. With the plumping power of hyaluronic acid complex. It's skincare and makeup in one for instant wrinkle reduction and healthy glowing skin. Once a Cover Girl, always a Cover Girl. With Simply Ageless. From easy, breezy, beautiful, Cover Girl.
Southern Utah trying to build on their 10-point advantage. Jason Spurgeon at the free throw line, and I think it's been his energy in the end of that first half. It's really carried over for this Southern Utah squad. He converts the first free throw.
Yeah, he's been a difference maker tonight. Absolutely has, and they've established the paint in this half. They've 16 points so far, only had 20 in the first half. They already have in the first 9 minutes 16 points in the paint. Has been a huge difference and a huge key for the Thunderbirds.
14 now for Spurgeon, and you could essentially call those free throws points in the paint because he got fouled in there, but don't get it to count that way as Matt Johnson, the second, probes the defense, rolls it up, no good. Rebound ends up out of bounds, and it'll stay with Northern Colorado. Went right through the hands of Spurgeon. Jamel Melvin's checked in, and we're going to see a lot of him, I believe, here in this second half as John Cooch with 4 personal fouls. Hume catches 3-ball by Bodie is good for Northern Colorado.
Again, we talked about kind of the special teams, the game within the game. Another baseline out of bounds execution for 3 for Bodie Hume. Great play call by Smiley. Great execution by the Bears.
Just the 5th point of the night for Bodie Hume. He has been fighting fouls as Spurgeon wants to go to work on Melvin. Great defense by Jamel Melvin for Northern Colorado. Used that length to deflect that shot. Bodie right to the rim, off the window, rolls it up with the right hand.
Yep, you see the preseason first-team all-conference player, number 13, starting to get ignited in the second half with back-to-back buckets.
Going right into Spurgeon to let him go to work on Melvin. Melvin stands his ground again, back-to-back blocks. Spurgeon grabs it and scores.
I mean, you talk about a player. This young man is a hooper. He's calling for a sub. He's leaving it all on the line from his coach. And, man, to be able to stay with it, the pivot, the feel inside, he's an impressive big man for Southern Utah, playing some great basketball here tonight.
Dalen Kuntz drives through off the window again. A lot of body contact there. Spurgeon is one off his career high. He set that against Idaho State with 17. He's on pace. Averages 6 points a game. He's feasting here tonight on Northern Colorado's defense. Butler in the rim. Might have got away with the walk and scores at the rim.
Yeah, one thing I asked Coach Todd Simon before the game was, what do you feel about your team and where you're at here in February? He said he still feels like they're only at 70% of their best basketball. So he still feels like they have another 30%, largely because of the big man inside we've been talking about.
Foul whistled on Butler, his first. Bodie Hume to the free throw line for Northern Colorado.
Again, going back to Southern Utah and kind of that reason why Coach feels like they're only at 70% of their best basketball is because they've had some injuries. They've had some stuff with COVID. They've had some haven't had to have all their lineups together. But he feels like their team is hungry and together. And I think you mentioned earlier they've won 7 out of their last 9. So they're playing some great basketball heading into March, currently in second place and feeling confident about the way that they're trending.
Hume splits a pair. 8-point lead for Southern Utah. Dre Marine to John Knight III, and a whistle, and who's that foul going to be on? And it is on Bodie Hume. That's number 4 on the senior from Sterling.
It's just surprising in a high-level game like this at this point in the game. I don't know that foul call, not to be critical of the referees, but I don't know that foul call had anything to do with them gaining or losing an advantage. Kind of some incidental contact. It's a physical game, but see what happens on the free throw.
Free throw up and good. Fawcett now with 17.
Yeah, returner, local Utah product, more or less. And this thing means a lot to him. This program does. And not able to connect on the second one.
Dalen Kuntz 3 in transition, too strong. Rebound tapped around into the hands of Butler. As Jones into the front court, he's hit a couple incredible threes here in this second half to spark Southern Utah. They lead by 9, 73-64. Trailed by as many as 14 in this game.
Yeah, they were down, I believe, the entire first half.
Explore more at the University of Northern Colorado.
Southern Utah advantage, 75-64. Has just got word on the officiating crew. It's a two-man crew here in the second half. Larry Spalding, one of the third official, got injured right at the end of the half. So it's David Hall and Kelly Pfeiffer. The Bears turn it over. Tevion Jones, and Jones whistled for the offensive foul. Gotta like the guts of the freshman right there, stepping in and taking that charge.
Yeah,
Zach Block
those are the championship plays you need. I mean, Northern Colorado, let's face it, has not had a very good flow in their half, but he was able to get set, hold his ground, and draw the foul. Going before that, we talked about this at the half. The team that had the better defensive output would lead the way and take control of this game. Well, both teams can score. We talked about that. First half, it was Northern Colorado shooting 70% from the floor. Second half, Southern Utah shooting 70% from the floor, but they're holding Northern Colorado to 40% from the floor, which is the difference in the half so far.
Matt Johnson, the second, spins one up with the right hand, and Jamel Melvin whistled for the personal foul. And the frustrating thing on that one is I know Melvin's trying to be aggressive, but it's free throws now for Southern Utah. The ninth team foul. It's 1-1. But that gives a long walk down to the floor and an opportunity to convert for Spurgeon here.
When you kind of go back to why is it that Southern Utah is shooting 70% this half, Northern Colorado is shooting 40, largely because, as simple as it sounds, Southern Utah has been the more aggressive team in all facets. On the glass, obviously that's why they're drawing free throws the way they are, but defensively they've been much more aggressive to not allow Northern Colorado to get things easy. And speaking of the aggression right there you see Knight the third, as my colleague called him, the Russell Westbrook of this conference, getting in the passing lane, showing a burst and his ability to play above the rim. But again, their aggression has been the difference in this half.
14-point lead, large lead of the basketball game. Spurgeon has matched his career high. Dalen Kuntz cuts into the lead. Bears needed a bucket there. They go to the Big Sky's leading scorer.
And again, Southern Utah, I mean, that's not an easy shot, so they did a good job defensively to be able to keep keep more things in front of them, not letting people blow by for easy layups and paint touches, and look to get a little offensive execution with a cross screen, down screen, kind of that camp offense, if you will. Sometimes it's just that simple, and the big fella, I believe that's his new career high. Spurgeon has really been playing at a high level game. Coach Simon talked about it before the game. He feels like he is a huge key to this team and a difference for them to be able to go to a place they haven't gone yet, which is to that NCAA tournament.
19, as you said, for Spurgeon, does set his career high. As Connect gets a bucket for Northern Colorado. John Knight III has 13. Tevion Jones, a quiet first half, has made some noise here in the second, wants to go to work off the window, and he is such a tough matchup. Ooh. Long, athletic, and can elevate the way he can shoot it. It's just so tough. 6'7" senior from Chandler, Arizona.
Yeah, so much swagger, too. I mean, he's made some difficult shots, but, you know, sometimes when you believe as much as a guy like he believes and you put the time in on your game, you can make some. The thing that Coach Simon mentioned to me, just a sophomore who's really kind of figuring things out as he's been in the States, from Australia originally, and again, he's been the difference in the game. Career high tonight, doing it in all facets, from blocks to threes to points in the paint. And unfortunately, Northern Colorado just has not been able to be in the same flow offensively that they were. They shot 70%, led for almost the entire first half. And really, since the end of the half, that last 5 minutes or so, they just haven't quite been able to be the same offensively or defensively. So 5 minutes left. Definitely going to have to earn it. Going to have to get to the free throw line and be able to score without the clock running. They are in the bonus as well, and they have to hope that they can get some stops on the other end and make it difficult for the Thunderbirds to score.
31-point swing in this one as Kuntz drives to the rim and scores it for Northern Colorado.
Another ATO basket. You mentioned one of the best in the country, top 10. Steve Smiley and his staff do such a great job executing after timeouts. Here they're trying to get some pressure, kind of changing it up with a little bit of trap on McKnight. Southern Utah is going to take their time here. They don't need to rush. The clock is their friend. They're up 15. Big time play right there by Jean Couch, who had 4 fouls, stuck his body in there, was able to sacrifice and draw the charge on Knight III. Here you see the replay. Jean Couch just able to really sacrifice his body, be set, lost the shoe. But those are the type of plays, not a lot of time left, but those are the type of plays that Northern Colorado is going to have to make in order to claw and scrap back into this game down 15.
And Dre Marine whistled for number 4.
We had some free throws, and I believe I talked about that, scoring without, so the clock didn't move.
Yep.
So they drew a charge, and now they're at the free throw line. The clock doesn't move. So those are the type of things that they're going to have to do in order to claw back in this game. We've talked about both teams being great offensively and explosive. Both teams can go off at any point in time, and Northern Colorado hasn't really made a second half run. They may have one loaded in the chamber to make a late push to claw back into this game again. It's going to take stops, though. It's not just going to be scoring. They're going to have to find a way to slow down this Southern Utah team who's shooting over 70% this half.
Free throw's good by Matt Johnson. The second makes it a 13-point game. Trying to trap here in the backcourt are the Northern Colorado Bears. A long pass, and there's number 5 on poor John Couch. And they'll go Dalton Connect here for Northern Colorado. Free throws for Tevion Jones. 2 shots now. It's a double bonus for the Thunderbirds.
Yeah, I wasn't able to see where John Couch was positioned, but that's the exact pass that you want to invite, that long kind of floating pass that's you can kind of get under and play cornerback or free safety, if you will. Jalen Ramsey, shout out to the Rams winning the Super Bowl last night. Pretty intense game, speaking of championships.
81% free throw shooter, makes the first, averaging 16.2 points per game on the season.
Had a 36-point game this season. That shows his ability to score the basketball. When you can score 30 points in any game, let alone a college basketball game, that is impressive. He's been impressive tonight as well.
13 straight games in double figures for the leading scorer for Southern Utah. Dalton Connect fakes the handoff to Cookshausen, trying to get it to Bodie Hume. On the backdoor pass, Hume turns it over. Good hands by Fawcett. And the lead stays 15, 4:23 to play.
Yeah, we talked about it quite a bit, just Matt Johnson and Dalen Kuhn's ability to kind of touch the paint. Southern Utah's done such a good job the second half of.
Sorry, MS.
You don't get to control
Every part of me. MS can't own us. Ask your doctor about 2 times a year Ocrevus.
Southern Utah leads by 12, 87-75. A explosive second half for the Thunderbirds as they trailed by 9 at the break, 44-35. They have scored 52 points here in the second half.
Yeah, largest lead for UNC was 14 in the first half. Not that you expected them to keep that, because we know Southern Utah was an explosive offensive team, and we saw an explosive offensive matchup at Southern Utah earlier this season. Northern Colorado able to hit 17 threes in that game. Not quite close to that here tonight. And then just hasn't been able to get it going from 2 the same way they did in the first half. But most importantly, just has not been able to get the stops. Again, Southern Utah is shooting 71% in the 73% now in the second half. And hard to win many ball games when you give up that kind of percentage, which is what Southern Utah was given in the first half.
Dalen Kuntz right to the rim, off the window, scoops it up and in. Left hand finish for Dalen, and it's turned over. Bodie Hume has it. Finds Matt Johnson the second. Good scramble defense by Southern Utah. Dalton Connect right to the rim, lay it up and in with the right hand, and the lead's been cut to 10.
Yep, making a comeback.
Fawcett ahead of the pack. Challenges Connect, rejects him at the rim.
Off and running, see what they get in transition. They're in the bonus. Want to be aggressive here. They don't want to foul.
Extra pass into the corner. Dalen Kuntz has it, guarded by Jones. Jab step, 3-ball.
Big
Got it!
time shot. Big time players making big time plays in big time games. That's what that is. And we now have a 7-point game with 3 minutes to go.
Jones, now Todd Simon telling his teams to slow things up. Dalen Kuntz, 8 straight games with 20 or more points now, 21, right on his season average.
I mean, what a big time three to raise up and kind of shoot it right in the defender's face when the Northern Colorado Bears really had to have it.
Butler going right at Bodie Hume. Fade away by Butler. Air mails it, and it's a shot clock violation. Great defensive possession by the Bears. Southern Utah used clock, but it's a stop for Northern Colorado.
They did, and Coach talked about it again. Coach Smiley talked about winning plays, giving that team effort. It's not about one-on-one defenders, but finding a way to do it collectively, and they're back to defending, back to rolling on offense and playing some of their best basketball. And there he is with another spin cycle. Dalen Kuntz doing what he does. Now they're down 5 with 2 minutes and 15 seconds to go.
9-0 run by Northern and Colorado. Fawcett challenges Bodie Hume, counted, and that's number 5 on Bodie Hume. And in that situation, if you're going to make that foul, better to foul him hard, not let him get the shot off, not give him the opportunity at the three-point play.
Yeah, that's an important thing. As you see, great pass. Just kind of took a swipe, and you're already in the air. You don't want to hurt him, but you want to make sure he doesn't get the and one. Really important, but got to give credit again. Southern Utah, you got to give credit to Fawcett, the Utah product, wearing Southern Utah with pride, representing his home state, and huge and-one basket right there.
2:09 to play, 7-point advantage for the Thunderbirds. Fawcett with 19, make it 20. Eight-point advantage. Connect, wants to attack, gets to the rim. Little fadeaway, rattles home.
Nice. Good player, good drive. Way to compose yourself. Averaged over 20 points a game, one of the leading scorers in this region in junior college. Close to a 10-second call there.
Marine guarded by Matt Johnson II. Dre Marine just 6 points here tonight. He's battled foul trouble. Bears double team him. John Knight III with one to shoot. Off the mark. Cookshausen has the rebound. Connect. 3-ball. Good for Northern Colorado. 3-point game here in Greeley.
Crowd erupts. They're ready for this team to continue to fight their way back into this game. Big time block. Looks like the ref saw some contact. Got to give this team credit by the way they've scrapped and clawed and got right back into this game. Again, talented players, scored a bunch of points in junior college. I would say this timeout will be something with Dalen Kuntz to be able to get him on some kind of an isolation on a clear side or maybe even a high ball screen. You don't have Jean Kuntz, who's great in ball screen situations. You have more of a guard lineup, so the floor will be spread. So I would say it's looking to get Dalen Kuntz playing downhill. You're in the bonus, so any foul from Southern Utah, you're shooting. He's a great free throw shooter, and really, I mean, you have a 4-point, 2-possession game with 1 minute left to go. You don't need to get it back all at once.
Dalton Connect feeling good here in the last few minutes. Has 5 points in this little spurt. See if the Bears can get him a look from downtown. Just knocked down a big one for UNC. Playing the 5 spot for the Bears.
Yeah, there's some pressure on Southern Utah. They don't want to foul here. They don't want to give up any more of this lead than they've already given up. So, speaking of foul, exactly what we talked about. I mean, out of the timeout, get your best player, the leading scorer in the conference, playing downhill, going to his left, drawing contact, and great execution by Steve Smiley. Again, another after timeout. That's special teams, getting your best player the ball and letting players make plays.
Free throw up and good.
Coach Steve Smiley played for Don Meyer, legendary coach. I asked him, what would Don Meyer say about this team and about how you've coached this team and where you're at in the season? And he felt like Don Meyer felt like it was not about tricky plays this time of year. It's about making your players tricky players and continuing to develop them. And speaking of tricky players, Dalen Kuntz is one of them.
Nearly turned over by Southern Utah. They lead by 2, 93-91. We expected fireworks. We've got them. Thunderbirds holding with 15 to shoot.
Student section getting a little rumbling going.
Marine on the drive. Good defense by the Bears. 3-ball. No good. John Knight III has the offensive rebound, and they will foul John Knight III.
Now the part that's so tough, I mean, they did everything right on that possession, but it got an extra bounce on the rim. Didn't bounce just once. It bounced that extra bounce and bounced right into the hands of Knight III. Small
64%
lineup
free throw shooter.
Yep, small lineup too for Northern Colorado, so they have to be physical and find a way to scrap to get these rebounds because they don't have size in the game right now.
First one up and good. That's the important one. Makes it a 3-point game for Southern Utah. 29 seconds to play.
Still 1-possession game. He makes this just a 2-possession game.
Front of the rim, soft roll from John Knight III. Bears plenty of time. As Dalen Kuntz goes right by John Knight III. Count it! And one! He'll go to the free throw line for Northern Colorado.
Dear mama, there goes that man. So fast in transition, can't stop him. Able to get the hoop and the harm in the clutch time. Down 2, shooting 1, and that is 5 fouls on probably the most important player for Southern Utah. Mr. Knight III, Dalen Kuntz, showing why he is a premier scorer in the country, not just in this league, but in the country. Transfer from Colorado has put this team on his back in the second, late push in the second half, and deflected it right to Dalen Kuntz, gets the layup, and then here you go on the other end. Zach Block steps in, set, there's no way you can argue that's not a charge. Big-time play. You see the emotion from the team. Coach Smiley talked about how tight their huddles have been, how connected they've been as a team, how they've risen in adversity. They could have folded when they lost 3 in a row. This team is showing, again, why they're so dangerous in March. What an awesome job by this coaching staff and by the player-led leadership on this team.
14.4 to play.
So you see they're coming with a formation with all their guards are right close to the ball. Look for something creative, maybe a little innovative here. Offensively from Coach Smiley, so tricky, so masterful in his approach to timeout situations. Able to get it into one of their best free throw shooters, and I believe that's the 5th foul on Marin.
It is number 5 on Marine. Todd Simon a little hot there. Maybe thought quick whistle on that play,
Yep.
but fact of the matter is that the foul is called. And Matt Johnson, the second, a guy you want to have at the free throw line right there, right now.
Yeah, it might have been a little bit quick. However, a foul is a foul. And when you're behind the player and you
They made this run, and you got to, pending the outcome, you got to tip your cap to the young fella, Zach Block, with 3 of the biggest plays, all of them coming on the defensive end. 2 charges and a tip here that gave Dalen Kuntz that bucket to give Northern Colorado the lead.
Yeah, and I think just going back to what Coach Meyer said, what he would have said to Coach Smiley, which is that development. Player development is important this time of year. It's not about your plays. Everyone knows your plays now. How good do your players feel? How connected are they? How much better are they getting? You look at Bryce Kennedy in the first half, makes 2 huge threes. You look at Melvin, got some huge blocks and plays in there. I mean, contributions from every single person. Dalen Connects looks like a different player today than he has in a long time here at home. And 12 seconds away from securing a victory. It's far from over. We know how good this Southern Utah team is, how explosive they are offensively. Now, they are losing their starting trio guards, more or less, or look for Jones to be the guy that they go to.
Jones has it right now. Southern Utah 5 of 8 from 3 here in the second half. Jones, 3 ball, fading away, off the mark. Matt Johnson, the second, has the rebound for Northern Colorado.
Great switch on that ball screen. Going back to it. They wanted to get Jones in the ball screen, maybe get a mismatch so he can get some daylight. They did not allow it. Dalton Connect. It may not be said, but he was the one that stepped up on that ball screen, and his length made the degree